All right, we see the recovery continuing here as we continue to see reopenings in the U.S. Brian Sozzi, you took a look at some data from Bank of America outlining some areas that they are seeing a real pickup in spending. And I always like what Bank of America and J.P. Morgan do. They take their proprietary credit and debit card data, and then they turn it into economic research.
Yeah, some pretty cool gig right there. But we had Bank of America's chief U.S. economist Michelle Meyer on yesterday telling us, quote, she expects exceptional economic data in March. And that has not been the case at least this week. We've seen disappointing retail sales, disappointing industrial production, disappointing housing starts, disappointing housing permits. So I took Meyer's words there, or just confidence in the data improving. I went searching for some of this stuff, and the first chart I found here does come from Bank of America. And to your point, Myles, they track total card spending amongst their users, such as myself. And you can see that trend line here looks to have bottomed in early February. Now, you did see a little pullback last month because of weather conditions. You saw that reflected in retail sales, but still, that trend looks to be higher and somewhat encouraging as you head into the warmer months when people post-vaccination, maybe they'll go out to a restaurant. I know Fed Chief Jerome Powell joked about that this week, but maybe they go to a restaurant, they start buying more clothes. Next chart. Airline terminals. Just and this chart comes from J.P. Morgan. They are tracking a whole host of items regarding travel and airlines as well. And they indicate here that travel and airlines are starting to improve. They track Flight Radar 24 global flights. Numbers are still down year over year, but the trend rate you're starting to see improve. And that was backed up this week. The week started, keep in mind, with strong guidance raises for the first quarter from airlines, JetBlue, Southwest. Delta CEO Ed Bastian coming out and saying that he's seeing, quote, glimmers of hope in the industry. So that is somewhat good as well. And we also talked to Cowen airline analyst Helene Becker early on in the week, and she is seeing encouraging results in her airline coverage list as well. And last but not least here, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but restaurant bookings in JP Morgan tracks open table data. Restaurants finally start to appear to be getting bookings inside of their restaurants as the restrictions are lifted and as people travel back out after getting their vaccine. And guys, you look at the stock movements here in the restaurant space, it is interesting. It's suggesting that restaurants could see a strong spring and summer seasons post-vaccination. Dine Brands, the owner of Applebee's, up 18% in the past month. Olive Garden, Darden, its shares up 12% in the past month. Even McDonald's just got an upgrade this week by Deutsche Bank. You saw an upgrade on Starbucks this morning too. Its stock, McDonald's stock, is up 5%. So at least the market is positioning for the restaurant rebound to continue.
It is positioning that way for now. I was telling you guys this morning, anecdotally, I just booked my first flight that I've booked since COVID, so we'll see how that goes. I imagine a lot of other people are doing the same. I think the conundrum here comes from what Mohammed was talking to us about yesterday, and other economists and investors have said as well, is that what if the good economic news is bad news for the market? Do you get the disconnect the other direction from what we had last year? It might be good for these particular stocks and these particular companies, but what is it going to mean for bond yields? What is it going to mean for the broader market? And I think that remains to be seen. You had, I don't want to call it a taper tantrum because there's no tapering coming for as far as the eye can see, a little bit of a tantrum, a bond market tantrum yesterday, but we'll see if that's sustained at all.